Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure that you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guide.
Jane.
And the greatest driver.
Josh.
They're the best. I love them. Even though
Jane and Josh
owes me $5. I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
Thank you, Jimmy. Safety rules. First and foremost, please remain seated while the tram is in motion. Very important for your safety. Keep your arms and legs safely inside the tram at all times. There's no smoking on the studio tour. And if you guys have an emergency, that could be a medical emergency, or you drop something valuable from the tram, or your monitor stop working, where you're looking at me right now on it. You can no longer see or hear your monitor. Please feel free to pull the cord that runs down the top middle of each part right above your head. Pull that cord, and I will be back to assist you as soon as it is safe to do so. Lastly, please be ready for sudden loud noises, sudden tram movements, water effects, and fire effects. You're going to get some great pictures and video out there today. Just please take that extra time and care to keep your camera phones, tablets, and cameras safe and dry. Hold on to them tightly. We're going to go now. That's it for safety rules. We're going to leave the park behind for about 45 minutes, hang out together, and explore the world's largest fully functioning studio line. Welcome, everyone. Take a look on your left and right. The posters are just a small sampling of our movie-making history here at Universal Studios. You can also notice above the posters how the Universal logo changed over the years. With so many classic films to talk about, I'm just going to go ahead and play you guys a clip from one of our 1940s movies and see if you can recognize the film that was about.
I have the room ready for you, Mrs. Jackson. Thank you, Wilson.
Did you hear that? Mrs. Bennett.
Yes?
Really about this condition. Make sure that we are not disturbed for any reason.
Okay, they played a little trick on you guys. That was not shot in the 1940s. It was shot very recently inside Soundstage 20. That was Jimmy Fallon as Bellhop. They want to show you that it looks like inside the soundstage. And now the first soundstage on your tour, Soundstage 12, coming up on your left is around the corner. There it is. That's home to the hit NBC singing competition, The Voice. Stars Daily.
I just want to welcome you to the Universal Front Lot. Our show is filmed on stage 12. It happens to be the largest soundstage on the Universal lot. Take a look.
Thank you, Carson. Here's some films they've shot in there since the 1930s. There it is, empty, one of the largest in the world. And now on your left, Soundstage 25. That's home to the hit CBS drama CSI, starring Ted Danson and Elizabeth Shue. They're so busy shooting CSI here on the front lot, they had to go and take over stages 22, 23, and 24 as well. The doors are open on the left, you guys can go in. So now you guys are seeing the largest soundstage, busiest soundstage. On your right is the oldest soundstage. So way back in 1925, Soundstage 28. It was originally built to house an elaborate Paris opera set for the first Phantom of the Opera. That was a silent film starring Lon Chaney, the man of 1,000 faces. True or not, it was rumored that set was haunted. So they have actually left a piece of it intact inside that soundstage. They simply covered up and showed around it. playoff team. It ain't broke, don't fix it, leave it. Team so far. On your left, soundstage 27. That's home to the Mindy Project, starring Mindy Kaling. A lot of you first got to know Mindy in NBC's The Office. Now she has her own show on Fox, and they've made their home in stage 27. And on your right, the Backlot Cafe. You can wave. That's all right. We're like a big family around here. In fact, we're part of a really big family. In addition to the theme parks, NBC Network, and Universal Studios, we're also home to some of your favorite cable networks. So keep that in mind next time you guys are watching your favorite show on E, Sci-Fi, USA, Bravo, Telemundo, the North Channel, CNBC, and MSNBC, the Weather Channel, Oxygen, Esquire Network, and NBC Sports. That's just to name a few. Now, coming up on your right, you're going to notice there's two little creatures. They're yellow. You know what they are? They're waving hello to you. They're coming up, kids. Stay ready. On the right, you can wave back. And if you're in Marva, on your left are some authentic picture cars all lined up and ready to go. We're getting the Minions. On your right, you can wave back. Hi, Minions. Illumination Entertainment has made their home here with us. And now look on your left. There's the picture cars. I wanted to get you ready ahead of time. It's so fast. They're all lined up ready to shoot. And on your right, Soundstage 44, home to one of my favorite shows, Parenthood on NBC. The house on your screens is inside that A hit show like Parenthood needs a large staff, and they need offices. On your left are the production bungalows, but originally those were the dressing rooms to the stars. Back when they were under contract, the top names still had to come to work every day whether they were listening or not. So the studio gave them a little work away from home. They could have a shower, eat lunch, take meetings, whatever they needed to do. Each one of those bungalows on your left is occupied by a major motion picture star. James Stewart, Lucille Ball, Rock Hudson, Tony Curtis, Doris Day, the list goes on and on. And now I get to show you the most famous bungalow of all. On your left, number 5195, the Alfred Hitchcock bungalow. You'll see his profile next to the address. He designed that himself when he was here producing Alfred Hitchcock Presents. It is currently home to the De Laurentiis production company, and they brought Hannibal to the large and small screen. Hannibal just had an awesome season 2 finale. I think they really painted themselves into a corner. I'm excited to see what happens in season 3. So now you guys have seen the front lot. This is where they shoot predominantly interior scenes where they need to control the environment. And now we're going to bring you guys into the back lot. The back lot is going to shoot exterior scenes on a large scale. You guys have heard words like backdrop and facade, right? Well, let's talk a little bit about that. A facade is simply the front and side walls of a structure. Nothing inside. They're completely empty. They're technically not buildings. And on your right is a giant backdrop. In the old days, it would have been painted. Now it's silk screen. You wouldn't see actors standing in front of that backdrop. You might see it windows of a high-rise office set or a high-rise apartment window, and then through the camera lens, it would look like a cityscape. And coming up on your right, there it is, the Metro set facade. Remember what looks like brick, concrete, and steel. Keep this in mind as you go through the Metro set. That's all pressed fiberglass. It's so they can reface those structures quickly and easily. And those lampposts are plugged in, like a table lamp. That's so they can be pulled out and put somewhere else if they need to. And they just put a little piece of fake cement down on the sidewalk. Welcome everyone to Brownstone Street, one of the busiest streets on the back lot. Castle was here not too long ago shooting. Nathan Fillion, the star, approached one of the trams and asked if he could join the tour for a while, and he hopped on board. You never know who you're going to see on the back lot. You guys remember that poor dog from Almighty? He lived here. Little guy. Just couldn't get it right.
Outside good. Inside bad. Outside good. Oh, you're done.
BEA News.
Beautiful indeed, Mr. Jim Carrey. They also shot this film right here at this next location, Courthouse Square. But I have a feeling you guys are going to recognize it as Hill Valley, the Back to the Future. There's the famous clock tower on your left. Back to the Future stars Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd, directed by Robert Zemeckis. It looks a little different now. That's because other productions have come here to shoot over the years, and it was too recognizable from Back to the Future. So they rebased the front of the clock tower. Here is the writer-producer of Back to the Future, Bob Gale.
It's actually the back lot, the Courthouse Square, that inspired the entire climax to Back to the Future.
I had seen something in the clock tower on that ledge. The ledge felt that wide. And I was standing inside looking at the ledge, and I already had vertigo. I just thought there's no way in the world, no way I'm going to stand on that. I was up there for quite a while. Of course, I had a cable.
Thank you, Christopher Lloyd. Now, there were other productions that shot here as well. Jennifer Love Hewitt started The Ghost Whisperer, and they shot here for 7 very successful seasons. They actually built the gazebo you see in the middle of the courthouse. And before any of this was Hill Valley, that was the courthouse where To Kill a Mockingbird, starring Gregory Peck. He won an Oscar for his performance in that film. And the AFI, the American Film Institute, recently chose his portrayal of Atticus Finch as the all-time greatest American film hero. It all happened right there at that courthouse location. So let's take a little look around, shall we, at these facades? I'm going to show you a little trick they've been using since the silent film era. Go ahead and look at the closest building. Now look up 1 or 2 stories. You'll notice that the windows get shorter as each floor goes up. That's forced perspective. We all took art in high school, right? That's a trick to make the facades look much taller on camera. And now we're going to leave Hill Valley far behind and bring you guys to a totally different part of the world, somewhere near and dear to my heart. I lived there most of my life. Welcome everyone to New York. All right, New York Street. It looks pretty good, right? I think so. I never get homesick. I just come to work. I feel good. Now, our co-host, Jimmy Fallon, knows a couple two-three things about New York himself. Take it away, Jimmy.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York. I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This was actually my old neighborhood. I once got mugged over there by an old woman, tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog guy. Hey buddy, how's it going? Remember me? No. Just like old times. Gotta love New York City. Hey, I'm walking here. It's cool, guys. I was just, just walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, even if you make it here on the Universal lot.
Thank you, Jimmy Fallon. New York Street. Now, if this looks strangely familiar to you, you're not imagining it. You've seen it loads of times. Transformers, Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, Captain America, The First Avenger, The Changeling, starring Angelina Jolie, Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. But it wasn't New York in that. It was dressed up to be swinging London in the 1960s. And it was also dressed up to be Chicago in The Blues Brothers. That was directed by John Landis, and that starred John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. In fact, here's the director now, John Landis, to tell you a little story about shooting here on the back lot.
When the Pinto fell, and you saw it land and make this big hole in the street, that was on the back lot. We dropped it from a crane. You dig like that in Chicago,
When people ask me, all of the movies I've ever done, what was the most satisfying, the most fun, I've got to say Heroes Brothers. We got to sing, we got to dance, got to drive, trained with the best stunt people in the world, and got to be an actor and a writer. So it was a good piece of work.
Danny called John America's Guest because he used to walk in anybody's house.
During the shooting of the movie, John was missing, we couldn't find him.
Danny went off looking for him. He saw a light on. It was one house and knocked on the door.
I said, sir, we're doing a movie down here. We're looking for one of our actors. Oh, John, yeah, he's on my couch. He came in, he had a snack a couple hours ago. He's sleeping. He was America's Guest. I mean, literally that happened.
Thank you, Dan Aykroyd. If some of you youngsters out there have not seen Blues Brothers yet, it is a fabulous comedy, a classic. I highly recommend it. Now here's a little trivia for you guys, a fun fact. John Landis' first project he ever directed was called See You Next Wednesday. Well, most of us didn't get a chance to see that, but it was very near and dear to his heart. So in every film he ever directed after that, the words See You Next Wednesday appear somewhere in that film. And in the Blues Brothers, those words appear on the theater marquee right here on the Universal back lot. That's a little fun fact you can impress your friends next time you're watching that movie with people. Now let's take a look around. It looks pretty neutral, right? That's by design. It's handed over to the director, the art director, the production designer, almost as a blank canvas. They want to give them total freedom to dress it up however they need to. So sometimes they can dress it up to make it look like a different location. But let's not forget they can also dress it up to look like a different time. So they can transport you to both a different place and a different time before the actor even utters their first line of a film. That is called art direction. So let's look around. Let's say one of the buildings you're looking at right now had a horse and buggy in front of it. Pretty much right away you're going to assume it's at least 100 years ago. And if it had a 2014 Ford Focus, you'd be like, okay, it's current. What about if it had a floating car parked in front of it? They CGI'd the wheels out. Right away you're going to think, yeah, that's at least the near future, if not the far future. That is one simple thing, just what vehicle is outside that building. Then they layer it on. What's the signs? What do the signs look like? Are they hand-painted? Are they digital? That will determine the time. Are there fruit stands out front? What do the lamps look like? Are they gas lights? Are they electric lights? What costumes are the background actors wearing? Are they current styles? Are they old-fashioned? Are they futuristic? All of that goes into creating this world we're transported to. Let's take a look right now at some award-winning art direction from Universal. Now, a lot of times it's combined with CGI, that's computer-generated imagery, along with that good old-fashioned craftsmanship we were just talking about. Costumes are a big part of this. You're not going to see a digital watch on these guys. Ships have changed a lot over the centuries. We talked about lighting. There's some torch lighting, gorgeous costumes. Uniforms. Uniforms are a big indicator. Dirt road, paved road, thatch roof, tile roof. Flags have evolved over the years. Every detail, hats. There's that horse and buggy we were talking about. All of that goes into creating the world that we're transported to when we watch a movie. And recently the Metro sets have been refurbished to be HD ready under the supervision of Steven Spielberg himself. We're very excited about the future of the Metro sets. And he's not the only award-winning director we've collaborated with. We're with Mr. Peter Jackson.
Maybe I saw that movie on TV age when I was I like films that just take you away from your life. Tom literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island. It's great to have you on the ride. Now we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island. We really put a lot of thought into the character and personality of Tom, and he's so much more than a monster. In fact, he's not a monster. He is an incredibly majestic, ancient creature. He's a force of nature. He's old, he's wise, he's proud, he's fierce, and obviously he has a heart. The most important feature of Tom are his eyes. Tom's eyes are wonderfully expressive. They're full of emotion. His eyes are like a window into his personality and his life. He's He's had an enormous number of encounters with his foes, the T-Rexes and the various dinosaurs on Skull Island, so he's been beaten up, scarred, chewed up, spat out by these dinosaurs at various times, and he wears the scars of a lot of ancient battles.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to enter Skull Island. Remember, this is a 3D experience from both sides, and there will be tram permitted. So hold on tight. Skull Island.
With a Punchbag Studio tour, the audience is in the middle of all of the environments. They're looking in all directions, there's creatures coming at them, they're seeing falling from this side and the T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know when people are looking straight ahead, they're looking at the shot that they're working on. Also, one of the things about this ride, on the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts, because it's one giant shot, and this tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting them to the audience. It's a hell of a ride.
Now, a director of this caliber will often combine CGI, computer-generated imagery, with good old-fashioned stunt work, especially in the action movies we love so much. So say there was a car chase. You're going to need at least 2 picture cars and 2 stunt drivers. And then when they're done their job, they can augment or correct any special effects they need to with CGI. Now, I've mentioned picture cars a couple times on this tour. Let's give you the definition. A picture car is any vehicle that appears in a motion picture or television show. Get your cameras ready, because on your left, are some authentic picture cars. Kit from Knight Rider, the Ferrari from Magnum PI, and we switch the collection out regularly, so sometimes you'll see empty spots. The Light Star Pulse, the Ford Edsel from Back to the Future 2, the Flintstones car, can't mistake those for anything, but I know what you guys want to see.
Ja Rule all one, yeah, yeah.
And the tank from Transformers, that's a picture car, even though it's a tank. Alright, so now we've established that you all know what a picture car is. Any vehicle, right? And it comes in a movie or TV show. How about if it was, say, the mobile lab unit from a little island off the coast of Costa Rica?
To Jurassic.
Welcome everyone to Jurassic Park. You're going to get a nice up-close look at the mobile lab unit from Jurassic Park, The Lost World. There it is on your screen. As well as other props and set pieces from the Jurassic Park film series. Now in Lost World, poor Julia and poor Jeff Goldblum, they were clinging for dear life, dangling off a cliff. What they didn't show you in the movie though, was they actually dangled that mobile lab unit from a parking structure here on the back lot. And they CGI'd the clip in afterwards. There it is now on your left. You guys are going to be movie-making experts by the end of this tour. We even held on to some of the dinosaurs because of all the exciting talk about a Jurassic Park 4. They're usually in the cages here. Uh-oh. Oh, gross. Oh, Josh, the splitters got out. I apologize, but it's so rude. Children never say that. I've been hit. It's like Botox. Really, I love rolling through here. I'm actually 96 years old, so it's all good. So Jurassic Park is pretty good, right? Not exactly like the movies, though. Where's all the rain? All that torrential downpour was so integral to creating the mood in the Jurassic Park films. Well, we're going to hear from America's favorite weatherman. They're going to do a little weather demonstration.
Forecast for the Universal Backlot. It's going to be sunny and dry at 6 points Celsius. Cool and cloudy in the middle of Europe. Expect snow and sleet on New York Street, and we've got a high chance of fog and precipitation for Skull Island, Amity Island, and Island Rock. That's the forecast for today. Now here's a look at what's going on in your neck of the lot.
And our neck of the lot is Old Mexico. Welcome, everyone. Flash flood warning, that's not going to happen. But we're going to do a rain demonstration for you guys. We have large overhead sprinklers, and right now you're thinking, yeah, you spray the water down, I get it. Not exactly. They spray the water up, as high up into the air as they can. And they let gravity pull it down. That's what makes it fall naturally. So you kids remember that when you go home and make those masterpieces. If you're making rain water, you got to spray it up. Gravity pulls it down. Thanks, guys. You can turn the rain off now. Guys, please turn the rain off. Weird. Damn break or something. It's not good. I hear something weird. Alright. Cars 3 and 4. I'm really sorry. Of course I'm going to show you a flash flood. I was just teasing you guys before. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the result of thousands of gallons of recycled water. It's kept in giant bins at the top of that hill, it flash floods, and recycles back up in 15 seconds. But we do not waste anything on the back lot, even daylight. Ever heard a director say that? If we're in daylight, they have to get extra shot in. That's possible while the lighting is still there. So here we are in Old Mexico. This section is dressed up to look like Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So Harrison Ford and Shia LaBeouf right here. It was also used recently in an episode of Mentalist. Simon Baker was here. And now we're going to cross the border. We're going to leave Old Mexico behind. And I'm going to bring you guys into the west.
Mexican standoff. Lucky shot.
I want to see you mount up and get out of town.
All right. Well, I'll see you again, pal.
Well, you can count on me, pal.
Thanks, Jimmy. We're gonna mosey on out of here too. I just want you to notice the horse is also painted as black and white. And that's a dirt road on your screens, right? But we're clearly on paved road. Well, they keep the roads paved and groomed and safe. We don't want any animal actors or human actors to possibly hurt themselves. Then they rent dirt. They rent dirt from the Hollywood Dirt Company, of course. They sift through it in a specific process, so it creates little to no dust. When you see dust in a modern Western, it's usually been strategically placed. You don't want to get in the way of a beautiful shot. Now coming up on your left, you're going to see a round, cylindrical sort of structure. It looks like it belongs on top of a ship. That's the underwater filming tank. There it is, with large hatches on the side. Well, they parked those gorgeous cameras right up against the pressurized glass on the side, and they can shoot all the underwater action without getting those expensive cameras wet. They shot a very famous scene of Seinfeld when Kramer decided to take a little dip in the East River. That was in the underwater tank. Speaking of New York, take a look on your right, that little patch of grass right there. That's Central Park. That's it. It's also Hyde Park, Gorky Park, Griffith Park, whatever they need it to be. They go to the city of origin and shoot what's called establishing shots. So say that was Central Park. They fly to New York, shoot whatever they need around 59th Street or Shoot Meadow, whatever they need to get. Then they come back here. You guys are art direction experts now. They put in precisely the correct benches, lampposts, vendors, every detail. Then they shoot their scene here on the back lot instead of having to worry about sound issues and crowd control issues. Usually what you end up seeing is a combination of on-location shooting and backlot shooting. Now just beyond Central Park is a body of water. That body of water is the Atlantic Ocean. Fun name, right? Also Pacific Ocean. It's also in the Mississippi River and the Indian Ocean and the Black Lagoon and Tarzan's Lagoon. In fact, it was built to be Tarzan's Lagoon way back in the silent film era. The Tarzan books were the Hunger Games or Twilight of their day. Every studio wanted the rights to make Tarzan into a movie. And our founder, Carl Lumley, he won the rights, and he built this lagoon here to shoot the Tarzan film. He also built an entire zoo to house the animals here on the back lot that appeared in all the Tarzan films. And to this day, on those sound stages, you guys noticed how huge the doors were, right? Those are called elephant doors. Worldwide, no matter where you go, if there's a sound stage, those big doors are called elephant doors. That started right here on the back lot. Figured it out, right? It's because during the filming of the Tarzan films, they had to literally be big enough for elephants and giraffes to walk in and out of the sound stages. So there's a little tip from your friend Jane. Impress your friends with that trivia. Now I mentioned Black Lagoon earlier. Let's take a look, shall we? Black Lagoon, Creature from the Black Lagoon. Anyone know about that movie? It's a classic horror movie. And there's Norman from Psycho. Yes, he did dump the car in that body of water. And speaking of water, let's take a look at the underwater tank. We went by it so quickly, I want to give you guys a better idea of how it works. It's huge, right? People don't realize how big it is inside. They can shoot a lot of really cool stuff in there. Now, you might have noticed on the tour that we have all kinds of, here, let me show you. There you go, Apollo 13, that also shot just behind the underwater tank. Every square inch of this back lot is used for something. Ron Howard noticed the area behind the underwater tank could be the surface of the moon. So they shot a large section of Apollo 13 right there, just a few feet away. Now, you might have noticed on the tour that the streets are all named after famous actors. Right now, we're parked on Anna May Wong Drive. Anna May Wong was a big film star. She was the first major Asian American film star. Way back, again, in the silent film era. Her first film, she was 17 years old. She starred opposite Douglas Fairbanks, and it catapulted her into instant stardom. She was also a big fashion plate. Everyone wanted to dress and look just like her. She was a local girl from Los Angeles. She grew up very close to these studios. Big success story. She was also the toast of Europe. And the first Asian American actor to have her own television show. Keep that in mind next time you're looking at these road signs. If you don't recognize the name of the actor they're named after, it might just be because they're from such a film era so long ago. It gives you something to Google when you get off the floor. Feel free to come on up and ask me any questions you guys might have after we get off the tram later. So let's look at that body of water and mosey on past it. I mentioned the Indian Ocean earlier, didn't I? Well, we're going to go below sea level. Now, if you have anything on the floor of the tram that you don't want getting wet, it could be a purse or a camera bag, anything like that, go ahead and put it on your lap. And the reason we're going to go below sea level is so that you guys get the exact right camera angles of the miniatures that Peter Jackson had filmed of the SS Venture and Skull Island. He shot portions of his King Kong film right here at this next location, and it was supposed to be the Indian Ocean. Miniatures are an age-old craft. They also go back to the silent film era. Now I'm going to show you what it looked like when he was here on your screen right now. That's the SS Venture and Skull Island. Okay guys, you know what? It's actually flooded over, but don't worry. It's voice activated. We're in a little shout-out game. I'm going to say Parka. You guys are going to say Parka. Ready? Parka! That was good. Got some action. Want to speed it up? Alright. Parka! Let's take a look. Good work. Don't worry if you can't see the water party. That's not the main attraction. The main attraction is that you're going to go below the sea level and you're going to have your hands ready because Peter Jackson needed to be below the miniatures. So his POV, his point of view on his cameras, would make them look life-size. Again, perspective. Good old-fashioned perspective. Here's what it looked like when they were here shooting. Nothing says a squall like two guys with a shovel. I love that. All of that was shot in the location we're about to go into. See the ducks? See the ducks swimming by? We have all kinds of ducks here at the lagoon. Around the beach, they're fine. They never get in the way of the trams. They're very smart and they're very happy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Skull Island. That's as big as Skull Island ever was. That's it. Magic! The satellites on your left and right are used in the NBC television broadcast. As you see on the satellites of each building, it's our prop department and costume department. That's why it's named after Edith Head, one of the greatest costume designers of all time. A prop is anything that an actor touches on a set. It can be as tiny as a paper clip, as big as a piano. We have the longest prop collection in Hollywood. The treasures in there is named back to 19. Wow. Speaking of a long time ago, take a look on your left. That's Little Europe, one of the oldest locations on the back lot. This and Six Points, Texas are the oldest. Little Europe is the home of the monster movie, you guys. It all started right there. Universal created the monster movie genre. Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman, the Mummy, the Invisible Man, all shot right there in Little Europe. True bloodshot in there. Disney used them in Europe as both tortuga and oil in all of their Pirates of the Caribbean films. And on your left, those animals in a very suburban house for the Hallmark Channel show, The Family, that's hosted by Christina Ferrari and Mark Steinen. And now, everyone, welcome to a hot set. A hot set means ready to shoot. Doing this breakfast action. Rest are ready to shoot these, everything is in place. Every set piece is in hot set. It's very turns out to look like a park station. Big area, fast, and Oakland area.
What's going on?
Man, after all that action, I'm ready for a little beach time. How about you guys? Sound nice? Beautiful. Welcome, everyone, to lovely Amity. I'm from England Beach now. Don't worry about that shark problem. They caught that shark. There it is on your right. The police diver, Officer George, is doing a final round of conveying. He says it's safe to get sounds like fun. Good. He'll be surfacing any minute. There's his boat right there. Son? No, he'll be surfacing by the boat. What do you mean? Hey, it's a shark. Shark! George, get out of there! Kids, tell him to get out. George, get out! George, he can't hear us. Oh, no, it's slick. Oh, children, look at Blaine. It's terrible. Poor George. Get a lot of guts keeping over when it's all like that. Ew, there they are. Oh, that's oh, gosh. Listen, it's too late for George, you guys. We're gonna save ourselves. That's huge. We're gonna hide it over here behind this dock. Sit tight, and we'll help you out. Okay. Nope. Shark over there. I thought we'd pick up hiding behind the fire. You're gonna be fine. What? My bad. I'll remember that next time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a mechanical effect. Unlike a digital effect, that's the mechanical effect. of the Atlantic Ocean. It caused so many problems. We started to call the production flops instead of chuds. Did the job in the end, though. Scared the world to death. Here's Steven Spielberg to tell you more about that.
Much of the line shark, the shark suspect didn't really work all the time. It didn't work out at all. Wherever you were on the island, you could hear the radio waves. They were always saying, the shark is not working. Repeat, the shark is not working. We just waited around. We just waited. The sharks worked well enough for a while there and against the whole time. So I really owe the shark a lot.
Best profile picture ever. Now, a lot of people think that the shark's name is Jaws, but that's not true. The shark's name is Bruce. Steven Spielberg decided to name that ferocious, man-eating monster after his attorney. And it was all in good fun. They're actually very good friends, and they still live together today. And now on your right, take a look up that hill. That house is what's called a practical set. That means that you have interior and exterior at the same location. That is not a facade. It was most recently used in the television series about wood, starring Minnie Driver, executive produced by John Favreau. At the back garden area was Jessica Fletcher's garden. And now welcome everyone to the most popular place in the back lot. It's Stereo Lane, Desperate Housewives. We're going to go down, loop around, and come back and get one from the side. The second house on your left, the favorite White House The yellow and white house on your left belong to Terry Hatcher's character, Susan. And across the street, the brick and blue house, very traditional house, that belonged to Bree, the most traditional girl, played by Marcia Cross. And on your left, the brown and white house was actually green and white in the show. That was the house that belonged to Lynette, played by Felicity Huffman. She won an Emmy for her work in that show. At the end of season 1, that's where the street ended. She was popular. In season 1 and season 2, they added the home you see here at the end of the cul-de-sac. This last house is another practical set that belonged to Renee, played by Vanessa Williams. Before anyone visits Osteria Lane, it was Colonial Street. They shot movies here for decades. Midtown Bonzo was shot here, starring Robert Reagan. And the classic Harvey, that was shot at the Gainesville Police House. That starred James Stewart. He had an 8-foot imaginary rabbit as his best friend. And let's not forget about television shows. The yellow and white house on the right that Terry Hatcher character Terry lived in. That was the original Harvey Boys house in the 1970s television series. And right next to the yellow and white house, that big purple and white house, that was the original Munsters house. 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Still the most popular house on the back lot. Now you might notice Wisteria Lane curves on both ends. That's by design. It's a little movie trick to make it look like the neighborhood continues on. It doesn't end at one block. And here's what they look like on your TV screen.
If there is one thing everyone in suburbia can appreciate, it's a good neighbor.
They want to make a neighborhood that does not look realistic at all. A great example of that is Ron Howard's set from Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I'm talking about Whoville, more than 85,000 linear feet of styrofoam. The set is up all year long, but I highly recommend coming back and celebrating Grinchmas with us. That's going to be a dancing, singing Who. Welcome everyone to Whoville.
Charming, isn't he?
great. But I was in the base hotel and the original Psycho house. Now it's across the track. Psycho. Uh-oh, Norman is here today. I didn't know Norman was going to be here. Listen, guys, you don't want to mess with him. Just stay clear, okay? I'm so glad he went back inside. Also, you do not want to check in and have a shower. That's all I'm going to say about that. Uh-oh. He's done it again. Luckily, he didn't see us. Don't make eye contact. Don't set him off. Good night. The largest, most impressive set of Universal backlog. It's the crash site for Steven Spielberg. Oh my God. Oh, okay guys, we've come to a complete stop. So now if you want to stand up, it's okay. Feel free to get some video and pictures. It's only for about a minute, but feel free to stand up. This is where Tom Cruise's character hid out during the alien attack. And we're going to hear from Rick Carter, the production designer in charge of creating this spectacular set.
The airplane crash site set is a perfect example of a set that is all designed around a vision.
When we first began to sit down and talk about War of the Worlds, I thought, what if the 747 goes down right in a big neighborhood? Because it's just something you don't see.
You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep pressing me. Listen, close your eyes, okay?
And now I need everyone to take their seats. We're going to be moving ahead shortly.
Robbie, get in. Get in.
A lot of people ask me if that's a real airplane. The answer is yes. Steven Spielberg purchased that airplane intact from an airplane graveyard. Then his creative team painstakingly tore it apart until it looks like what you see today. He also used over 500 other special effects on that film, more than he had ever used in any of his other films at that time. Now take a look at the glass. You're going to see a big open area, what looks like a pond, and a huge blue backdrop. That's our Falls Lake filming location. It's the world's largest outdoor green screen filming locale. Disney used it for Pirates of the Caribbean on Strange Tides. The mermaids are attacking the ship. Also, Hunger Games Catching Fire, shot right there at our Falls Lake location. It was originally built, though, for Jaws the Revenge. Way back then, that massive backdrop was hand-painted. There it is on your screens. Can you imagine the work involved? And since then, you can see the CGI work they've done filming at that location. Let's take a look what it's like when they're setting up Falls Lake. Huge cranes putting all the pieces in place. It's not always water. Sometimes it's a landscape, desertscape, like on your screen, moonscape, whatever they need it to be. That trailer, that's from Charlie's Angels, starring Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, and Cameron Diaz. There's Bruce Almighty. There's Morgan Freeman and Jim Carrey. There's before, and there's after. CGI has really revolutionized movie making, especially in the last decade and a half. It has not taken away from the artistry. It's just given the artists this amazing new tool to enhance our movie-going experience. Well, guys, the tour is drawing to a close, and I'm going to call on our co-host to wrap things up in his own unique way.
Well, I can't believe it. We've made it to the end of our tour, you guys. How about Jane and Josh? Weren't they the best? Hey, before we go, I'd like to sing you a little song I made up. I was just 5 years old. It's called Tram. We had a real good time together. Now the ride is done. We saw some crazy cool stuff, and we had a lot of fun. This tram has made its final stop. Don't be sad and blue.
Don't be sad and blue.
'Cause there's still one more thing that I'd like to say to you. Have a tram-tastic day. Have a tram-tastic night. Watch your step as you exit the tram, and everything will be alright. Come on! Have a tram-tastic day. Have a tram-tastic night. Just watch your step as you exit the tram, and everything will be alright. Just the dads now. Everything will be alright. Just the moms.
Everything will be alright.
Just Jaws. Okay, have a tram-tastic day. Have a tram-tastic night. Watch your steps as you exit the tram. Everything will be alright. Yeah! Thank you for coming to the Universal Tour, everybody. Get home safe. Tram-tastic day.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the world-famous Universal Studios Tour. On behalf of your driver, Josh, myself, your guide, Jane, I want to thank you all for joining us. If this is your first time on the tour, who's here for the very first time? I can see your hands all the way back to Car North. I am so honored I got to be your first tour guide. Where's my experts, my annual pass holders? Yeah, these guys will come back again and again. They'll tell you. The tour is always changing. It's never the same. It depends on what you think on the front and back lot. If you guys are not an annual pass holder, but you'd like to become one, you can take today's ticket to the Universal Trading Company located just inside the front gate, upgrade that ticket to the annual pass, and then you can come back and see us anytime you'd like. When we get off the tram, if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to come on up and ask me. If you want me to take any pictures, it's my pleasure to do so. Heck, if you guys need a hug, I'll be here for you, especially the little guys, the little girls. Hi. Now, we're sitting here. We get traffic jams all the time on a busy, freezing lot like this. Take a look on your right. I hope you got some pictures of that beautiful vista of the valley. There are so many studios down there. Warner Brothers, you can see the famous water tower. ABC is down there. NBC Television, Disney Studios, Nickelodeon. It goes on, and countless post-production houses. So I want to just shout out to any young people on the tour who want to work in Hollywood. If you're an aspiring screenwriter, sound designer, artist, actor, anything, producer, director, hair, makeup, costume, set design, it goes on. And you all got to start somewhere, right? Why don't we hear from some movie stars about their first time on the tour?
Tour so many times since I was a kid.
The first time I ever went on the Universal lot, we did the tour.
I grew up in Los Angeles, and that was like the place to go see Jaws.
I got my introduction to see the tour, to then be in the movie and trams drive by. It's very overwhelming.
One of the coolest things actually about shooting for Universal, sometimes we would shoot on the lot, and you would go, it's like there's Jaws, there's the flash flood, and all those trams are riding around. It's the coolest thing ever.
1979. Back then, the tram drivers were, a little reckless, a little crazy. There was no restriction on cars going in. We used to drive all over and deal with that.
I have so many amazing memories with the lot when we were shooting Back to the Future.
Being here, we came back in time, I'll tell you that.
The tram would come through, the tourists would see Michael J. Fox, and there's taking the camera steps. So one day, Michael J. Fox had his own camera, and every time the tourists came through snapping their pictures, he ran out and he started taking pictures.